Hello, beautiful people. My name is Mandi Vundla. I am a poet everywhere I go. Welcome to Storylines. So excited to introduce you guys to Storylines. Storylines is basically myself and Paige probing literary text from various poems that have been doing the rounds in the sector since God knows when. It takes time to create these poems. It takes time to create these poems. People have enjoyed these poems for years and years and years, and we don't really press the pause button to actually engage these poems, to engage the storyline. What are you guys writing about, and how are you guys processing the creativity around the storyline? What informs the structure of your poems? What inspires you to write? Let me first bring Paige onto the stage. Paige, come and join me. Come and say hello to the people watching. Hello, Paige.
Hey, everybody. My name is Paige. Hi, Mandi. Hi, everybody. And I'm excited to be here excited to get to break down, literary works, which we've always been giddy about as writers ourselves. Uh, I'm, I'm looking forward to everything we're going to be doing. I'm also looking forward to hearing the insight of course, Mandi and I guess the poets themselves when the time comes.
Yes. So tell them whose work are we talking about today? Tell the people.
Well, excitingly enough, the work we'll be reviewing is one of a very, very close friend of mine and someone whose work I absolutely admire and have done so for decades now. That will not mean any bias or anything of that nature. It just is a fact that is true about this person, and she's an absolutely amazing writer, a published author, and on been on many stages around the world, and that is Thando Fuze. And the poem that we'll be doing, all of that. Pa 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 pa. We need to add the pa 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 pa. We need the Tibo touch drum machine.
Drum roll.
Give me that. Give me that low. Yes, the sirens, the explosions, everything.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
we'll be reviewing her poem, Messiah. A great poem. She keeps coming with these great works that there's so much to dig into every couple of years, and this one is definitely up there for sure.
Yeah, man. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Messiah by Thando Fuze. We love this poem. We've loved this poem for a very long time. But sometimes when we listen to like the work, especially if it's a live performance, it's like a fleeting moment, You don't get to press the pause button and actually engage the storyline. And I think that's what Storylines is about. It's about engaging the actual storyline beyond the stage, like engaging the work beyond the stage, appreciating the lifespan of the poem, appreciating the lifespan of the text, and what it's been able to do. So this is Thando Fuze's Messiah. There she is, hosted by yours truly, Mandi Vundla and Paige Ngwenya. Alrighty, Paige, shall we get into it?
Sure, let's. I'm excited.
Cool. Hanging Messiah of a fallen Jerusalem. Your sons have cut holes beneath our rib cages with their razor sharp tongues, saying talk is cheap. We have called your name at the sounding of the horn, when barbaric lads were nailing our goddesses to the cross, thighs loosely hung from wilting bodies, the swaying of skeletal bones imitate a praying mantis. Our Father, we are bearing petals of roses dying at the hands of a trying love, slaves of sinister passion. My people have distanced themselves from their God. Because gold has us believing that minds bind us in community. You are my property. Okay, let's just talk about that. Let's talk about that. Hanging Messiah of a fallen Jerusalem. Paige, what is your take on this? I've always felt like this poem, the opening really is commanding. I've always felt like it is commanding my attention. Whenever she says,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
hey, Messiah of a foreign Jerusalem."
Well, first of all, I definitely agree that the opening grabs you immediately. That's I was saying that's how you start a poem. Um, uh, just the power of that imagery alone. I would say what she's talking about uh, is about the persecution and execution uh, of women, particularly at the hands of men, and that is clear to read in my analysis from this. The significance of the crucifixion is that judgment is passed, and then it's an execution. So it is that in both stages of women being judged and then executed by men with their razor sharp tongues. And I also think about how it's a great, it's a powerful device she used with the crucifixion, because as much as it is a barbaric, vile thing to do to execute someone, a crucifixion makes it a public spectacle. So it's also the spectacle of it, and how further depraved that is for it to be a spectacle. And in a crucifixion, there's multiple um, killers. It's not a beheading, where someone is the only person with the guillotine. It's not a public hanging. In a crucifixion, you get stoned by loads of people. You get uh, spat on, beat up, denied food and water, all of these things. And I think that's a very powerful imagery in this poem to immediately place us there. And we'll go on with the poem, but I think the poem also further just stretches that as well.
I love that. I love the public execution. Your view of the public execution, because that's what an execution is. It's
Yeah,
not
as
one
a, as
person.
a, as a spectacle. Mm.
So it's sons. These are the sons that she's talking about who are throwing. I wonder who the sons are, where they're from, and where she is when she's actually seeing these sons. Is this a crowd of people? Is she
Yeah.
watching somebody else being
Mm.
crucified? Is she being crucified also?
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
but I just love the imagery behind it. It's like she uses the crucifix and the reference to the Messiah being crucified to tell the story of another crucifixion within context of the world that I'm currently living in. She goes on to
Mm.
say, when barbaric lads were nailing our goddess to the cross, thighs loosely hung from wilting bodies, the swaying of skeletal bones imitate a praying mantis. Okay. Just that. It's one of my most favorite parts of this opening stanza, and I think the reason why is because so much is like happening here, right? So, firstly,
Mm.
when I think of a wilting, like thighs loosely hung from wilting bodies, right? Nothing can hang from something that is wilting. If something is wilting, already it's dying. So anything that is hanging on this dying thing is also kind of like losing life. The praying mantis for me, the praying mantis is like a scrawny insect that has the posture of like a praying prophet. And that's why it's called a praying mantis. But to juxtapose these two images of
Mm.
this body that is being crucified. So this death, is it also a prayer? You
Hmm.
know, is it postured as a prayer as well? This crucifixion. Um, because if it's a
I
praying
never thought
mantis,
of that. That's a completely new thought for me. I never thought about it being a praying mantis and what praying would mean, especially in this context of the device being used in this poem. That's yeah, that's a very 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 good thing to wonder about as a question for sure.